Hi everyone, I'm here today to make an updated PvP guide for Awakening WOOSA after the many changes that the class had received. Awakening WOOSA has a unique playstyle. She works through summons and her damage is locked behind them. Her summons can also apply CCs and deal significant damage. Previously, the flowers had no critical rate, and now all of them have 40% base critical rate. So you don't need to worry about perfect timing that 50% critical rate buff anymore. Note that summons, in general, do not benefit from special or species damage. Therefore, external buffs such as corrupted crystals won't affect its damage. Summons only benefit from raw AP, accuracy and critical rate buffs, DP, and evasion debuffs. Awakening WOOSA lost some CCs in the field skills like Stormfall, Mark of the Moon, and Netherstrike, but in the other hand, we got way more protected than before, and a lot of weird gaps that the class had were fixed. And they also transferred the critical rate buff from Bloom Deluge to Soul Cleanse, and they added a plus 20 DP buff in Perilous Waltz. Awakening WOOSA movement, it's quite simple. You have a lot of skills for moving. Um, your main source of movement is your shift plus directions. You will alternate between iframes and super armors with shift W as A or D. It's quite simple. You have your main movement ability, which is butterfly step, the shift space. Um, in pre-awakening, you have your I have no idea the name of this one in English, but it's the WF skill. This one you can do like Succession does, like Shift W, WF, then Shift W again. You move like a quite amount. It's pretty good. You have your Tiger Fly. It's any movement plus LMB. It's kind of a block jump, but it's not like Awakening Megu that CCs. Yours just like gives you super armor. So it's this. You have the Soul Cleanse. This one repositions you, but it's unprotected. You have Perilous Waltz, this one, and it also gives you 20 DP, and you can use it twice. You move backwards. You can press either any skill plus space or SF to cast it. So it's pretty good. You can cast it twice in super armor. And you have Nether Strike. This one you can use directly from pre-awakening if your fan kick is locked. Besides that, you can like combine all of them to move so fast and so far. So you can use something like this. It's quite simple. I just used the thing that I've said about pre-awakening. Shift W, WF, Shift W, F to transition to awakening. Then Shift W twice, Shift A or D, Shift W twice again, Shift A or D, Shift W twice, then Shift space. That's basically what I've done to move that far with the class. It's pretty simple. Um, Once you like get this, you will move with her so fast. Let me do it again so you guys can see it. If you press the Shift F skill, the Chrysanthe, this skill gives you move speed. So if you move with the class with this buff up, she will be so much faster. So it's pretty good. Once again, that's basically it. Awakening WOOSA swaps. It's kind of easy, nothing like too complicated. So from the awakening stance to pre-awakening, you have the Stormfall skill, the Shift Q. So if you are in awakening, then you press Shift Q. You will transition to pre-awakening. Um, if you press the Thunder Call, our Magnet skill on a hotbar, you will transition as well. And if you cast any RABAM skill like Inkstroke, Kaleidoscope Flower, or the healing one, you will transition as well. From pre awakening to awakening, you can use the Soul Cleanse sideways. It's A plus R and B or D, so you can do it anytime. For example, look, it's pretty easy. And you can use the Netherstrike, the F skill, in Awakening. But for this skill to transition to, you need to have Fan Kick locked, the F skill on the pre-awakening kit. You have to lock this one for this one to be casted. So if you are in pre-awakening, then you press F. You will transition to awakening if Fan Kick is locked. Besides these skills, you have your hotbar. If you put Life Lore, Citron Field, Mullet Blast, Soul Shower, and Blooming Death, all of these skills can transition you from pre-awakening to awakening, already casting it directly from pre. So if you cast like, if I press like the 6 slot, I will cast Life Lore, already transitioning to awakening and casting the skill. So if I'm doing something like this and I want to cast Blooming Death, I can just press the fifth skill here. It's basically that. Um, and you can transition as well in pre-awakening to awakening if you are using the butterfly stab, the shift space skill. If you press it, she will transition to awakening already. So that's it. About her RABAM skills, I recommend taking the Kaleidoscope Flower over the other one because it's a kinda protected knockback. It's half protected, so it's not that great. And the other one is like a long linger of SA. It's a nice skill to swap between specs and to be in super armor as well. The 57 RABAM, I recommend 100% the Inkstroke because it's our main CC on hand for extensions and many other things. So this one definitely the best. The last one, it's kinda up to you because one of them heals for 1200 HP, and the other one is a passive healing, kinda similar to this skill. So it's 100% up to you to decide. For CC catches, we have a lot of different options. In the pre-awaken instance, we can use Thunderstroke, Bamboo, Inkstroke, and Stave Strike. The Blooming Death is our main awakening CC because we can CC them from behind, so it's pretty useful. The CC comes from their backs. There's Soaklands, River's End, and the one that I use the most because of the core skill is Netherblast. Aside from those CCs that I've showed, the flowers also can apply CCs, but we can't rely on those to CC. You can also pick a different core skill for WOOSA. Both Soul Shower and Netherstrike are viable, but I personally rather take the Netherblast. Before moving to the combos, here are some notes. If you extend the combo with Inkstroke, you can cast up to 4 skills before the enemy gets up. If you extend with an Awakening Knockdown, the pre-Awakening Burst, it's only 3 skills after the Inkstroke. So, keep that in mind for combos that finishes with pre-Awakening skills. The pre-Awakening Bursts use the Sagunja Chrysanth, the Shift F, Sagunja Orchid, and Kaleidoscope Swirl, Shift LMB. The 4 skills situation that I've mentioned always have these 3 skills plus either Plum or Bamboo. Bamboo will be used when there's no one around you that can punish you for using a skill that's unprotected. So you cast Inkstroke, Chrysanth, Bamboo, Bamboozled, Orchid, Kaleidoscope Swirl. The Plum combo, it's kind of similar. It's Inkstroke, Chrysanth, Orchid, Plum, Kaleidoscope Swirl. Let me show you these combos in a real situation. This is the Bamboo combo. I catch the CC on the Sorcerer, then I comboed her, and the Plum combo in my PvP montage 10. Orchid, Plum, Kaleidoscope Swirl. So that's it. How can you actually play with her? The most common way to play the class is to precast flowers in advance to ambush your enemies. So for example, casting Life Lore or Citron Field and play around them, so the opponent might get to see by them, and their explosion will deal a bit of damage as well. So you kind of create a lot of zoning areas, and this works pretty well for a small scale PvP like AOS or 1v1. I recommend two different setups for WOOSA. The first option is a full glass cannon build focused on human damage and raw AP to deal straightforward damage. The artifacts used in this build is the wild humans or target openings. You can also choose between Deca DR, magic accuracy, and magic AP artifacts. The second one is a defensive option for those who don't want to die quickly. This build is focused on survivability. This one runs Dacia Artifacts DR with Rigid Shield or Olin's Descendant. A lot of people ask me what are the differences between Succession and Awakening. And I think for me, the Awakening WOOSA has a lot more tools than Succession to CC the enemy either ranged or melee. And she can be played like Succession, being aggressive and trying to CC her foes in their backs, and can be also played long distance as a mage. The biggest difference between them are Succession has a lot of straightforward damage, and it's a bit faster in terms of animation canceling. In the other hand, Awakening can deal so much more damage due to the flowers. But the main issue is that the fact that the enemy must get CC'd so you can apply the damage. Both classes are pretty great, and that's it. Pick whichever you like the most, regardless of what people say. Awakening WOOSA is technically a ranged class, but if you play her long distance, you'll not be able to do much, since it's kinda easy to predict her and play it against it as well. It's like playing against a Succession wizard, for example. Everything that he does is so predictable. So, in my opinion, the best way to play the class is being aggressive and trying to constantly CC your foes in their backs like Succession does. It's a risky playstyle, but you'll definitely be able to do so much more with the class because she has a lot of tools to CC the enemy and they cannot predict your actions. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and always feel free to ask me questions.